Welcome to He Did This to Me, the sports podcast from a father and son who happen to be mostly optimistic Knicks, Mets, and Jets fans. My name is Nick, a.k.a. Goody, and with me is my old man, a.k.a. the big guy, Noel. And just like his name, all we do is win. Let's get to the show. It's time to begin. The Landry Shaman game.
Shamey.
Shamey, ShamWow.
ShamWow.
The Shamurai.
Shamurai, I like that.
Landsanity. What were you calling him last night?
Shamey, or I don't remember. I don't know.
I thought you were calling him something different. But yeah, man, your boy Shaman has 36. The Knicks beat the Heat. They don't have Jalen Brunson. We know that going into the game. What we didn't know is that soon after they wouldn't have OG Anunoby either, yo. OG with the hammy. Did you see the clip of, because I know you and I were at my son's football game during that part of the game. We were able to watch the last quarter and a half, but did you see the actual clip?
I did not.
I will say, especially having seen him, pull a hammy before, it didn't look as bad. It wasn't one of those where he immediately pulled up and grabbed his leg and screamed or something like that.
Right.
So, hopefully OG is out for, a couple weeks and not months. But Jalen Brunson, he's going to be out for probably, it seems, about a week maybe. But who knows? I wouldn't be surprised if he came back Monday. And, the Knicks are, second in the Eastern Conference? They're 8-4 now. And they put up, what was the final score last night? 100 and... What was it? I got it right here.
They won by 10, I believe.
They won by 10.
130
but what's
to
crazy
120,
is, 130. Yeah, it was 140 to 132.
Okay.
And for them to put up 140 points
without Jalen,
no Jalen, no OG.
Yeah.
Mike Brown, he's got these boys moving, and like I said, we got that big performance out of Landry Shaman, and then Clarkson, Cat, a few other guys. Yeah, how you feeling about those Knicks, big guy?
Listen, you got to be pumped right now. You felt a little bummed the game before, already laid an egg, and that's going to happen, as we know, on an 82-game schedule. But they're moving. The real test, Nick, is going to come when they play some of these West Coast teams. Who's number one right now in the East? Cleveland?
No, Detroit.
Detroit's
11-2.
Wow. Okay, I hadn't realized that. I saw their record a couple games ago, but I hadn't realized they'd gotten it to 11-2. So, yeah, that'll be an interesting matchup with them.
We don't play them till January.
I know, and then you got Cade Cunningham putting up 45 shots to get 41 points. That's not that impressive.
Not that impressive.
No.
He did have a triple-double. They did win the game.
No, he's a he's a hell
second
of a
half
player.
of a back-to-back. Yeah, no,
he's a hell of a player.
No doubt.
But I think the Knicks will continue to improve, and I feel when we're at full strength, I feel very good about us against Detroit. But this is all so early. We are so in the building stages of what we're going to see at the end of the year. I like a lot of what I've seen. I like a lot of what I'm hearing from Mike Brown, the different things he's saying, the different ways he's saying them. Mm-hmm. And I'm very positive right now.
I want to take a step back and talk about the Orlando game a little bit, because Orlando is one of these teams that it seems like everybody on that team is long, and they defend. They defend with a certain level of aggression, both physically and effort-wise, that only a few teams in the league do. Detroit's another team that does it too. And what I noticed is that they clearly had been coached to, when somebody gets in the paint, immediately stay connected to those guys in the corners. And they were turning us over by jumping some of those passes. Mm-hmm. And their just level of physicality, I think, kind of put us on our heels. Mm-hmm. And then, it wasn't the best officiated game. I felt that way, but I'm a fan. Kind of got to the players a little bit. And listen, these guys are human. I sometimes, I know, it's impossible for us to, especially when we're sitting there saying we don't feel like the game's being officiated very well. And, you look at a guy like Cat, who his whistle's just crazy unfair overall. Especially for a established superstar in the league like he is. But I like how Mike Brown comes out after the game and immediately takes them to task for not only their effort, but for their allowing the officials to impact them as a whole emotionally. I think especially early in the season, that's the way that you need to be if you have a team that has championship aspirations.
I think that's where you need to be for any team, anytime. As I've told you since you were a little boy, Unless you feel like there is a fix in with the refs, players need to play through the refs. Let the coaches worry about that. You cannot get fixated on that because you will lose. And inevitably, Nick, I mean, like I said to you all the time, you always hear about the refs from who? From the losing team. You don't hear about the refs from the team that wins. You don't hear from us the fans, when our team wins most of the time. But listen, there are times when refs are bad. They make bad mistakes. The thing for me is that I feel like it evens out. So just play through it, man. And you know what, man? They were the aggressors. Orlando was that day. They get the calls. It's always that way, especially in the game of basketball. So, we were on our heels the entire game. Like you said, they came at us. They came very strong at us. We did not react in the proper way. And we're going to need to be better at that so we can win these big games. Because, listen, people are going to try to keep doing that to us. Miami was trying to be like that with us last night, or trying to be very, upfront and physical with us. But we were able to move past it because of our crisp passing and our movement without the ball. They couldn't stop us, and we need to be able to execute that through all sorts of adversity, like against Orlando and Detroit at some point.
Yeah, I agree with everything that you said. I feel like, before the game, there was a comment made by Miami. What's that guard's name? What's his name? The guy.
I know who you're talking about. Who said the thing about us not playing without Brunson?
How we're almost easier to guard when we don't have Brunson, and I think they're
no. You said harder to guard when we don't have Brunson.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, harder to guard when we don't have Brunson, which there's also a clip of him talking about a couple seasons ago, who's the hardest player in the league to guard, and he was saying it was Brunson, because he was saying how you just can't give this guy an inch because, he'll always take advantage of it. So I think that first and foremost, when you're a team that gets the amount of just overall coverage that the Knicks do, and then you also have a team that is playing pretty well and has a lineup and a roster that you feel like can win a championship, now everybody's got something to say.
Of course.
Whenever they get a chance
to. Well, they're asked questions about you.
Yes. And I think that, Brunson going down in that game, first of all, how did you feel about him being in the game with, under 2 minutes and then
I think questioning that is ridiculous. I mean, listen, we've seen incredible scores turn around in the NBA. Yes, looking at it with hindsight, you'd say, oh, we should have gotten him out right a few minutes before then. But that is incredibly hindsight observation. He just happened to step on that guy's foot. That can happen at any point in any game in the game of basketball. It is just the risk that you take when you're playing the game. He plays the game a certain way, and he's trying to play the game. He's not trying to play to lose there or trying to play tentatively. And I don't think I think they were going to take him out just then.
His sub was at the table.
Right. It just happens that way sometimes. And listen, what can you do? You cannot totally prevent injuries. They're playing a physical game. It's a sport. Injuries are going to happen. Hopefully not much for the Knicks this year.
Do you think that Wendell Carter at all tried to step in the way of Brunson and get his, put his foot in a place that would put Brunson in peril?
No.
I've seen some people on the internet saying that.
Of course there are.
His step looked a little bit unnatural to me when I did look at it, in review. And I mean, we know that guys try to step underneath guys' feet all the time. I mean, I've heard Jalen Rose talk about trying to do that to Kobe. Like, guys,
I get that when people are taking jump shots, but when the guy's running down the court, you just medically say, "Oh, he's going to put that other foot there." Oh,
he's going to take that long step, knowing that he's going to be there. Yeah, I do think guys do that sometimes. But I'm not willing. I looked at it multiple times. I'm not willing to say that's exactly what the case was in this situation. But I wanted to hear your opinion on it just because I had heard that. And I just think that, and I have to be fair because I've criticized Tibbs before for exactly this, leaving guys in too much when the game is clearly out of hand. I think anybody that watched that game knows that game, just at that moment, had gotten out of hand. I mean, 30 to 45 seconds before that, it felt like the Knicks were kind of surging back, and we were one play away from, we had Cat. Right, exactly. Where, Cat goes up, he misses the short shot, and then it ends up, or maybe even got a shot blocked, and then it goes back down and they hit a three. We were about to be, down by 9, and then all of a sudden it's back to like 14. And so, you never know. It felt like that game was definitely still in reach right at that moment. It was really at that moment I was thinking to myself, we got to get these guys out, and then that happens.
Right.
But, it's unfortunate. And we're very, very lucky that it's only a grade 1 strain. Like I said, with Brunson, that could be a week. It could be 2 weeks is the typical prognosis. I would not be surprised if we saw him suited up on Monday. It'll be very interesting to hear tomorrow whether or not he's going on the trip, which I forgot to try to look into it. I know I threw this to you last night about the Knicks possibly going down to Miami for a couple days, or do they go down there for the game? And you said absolutely not. They definitely just stay here and then go to Miami.
Anyone who entertains that thought is a fool. I mean, why? This is a business trip. It's not a pleasure junket.
I don't know.
You know, keep your ass at home and go down there, play the game, and come back. You're not going to Miami to spend some time on the beach or go out to a lively club. No, man, no.
I don't know how to figure that out. Maybe I'll try to tweet at Ian Begley or somebody like that, or Alan Hahn, and ask them, and they could say, because I really don't know how NBA teams handle that. I'm not 100% sure.
I'd be very surprised. Why? Why would you leave right after the game yesterday and get down to Miami? What?
Nice weather.
What?
Go down there, hang out for a couple days. Teams.
What do you need nice
teams definitely.
You could do that anytime you want.
Well, teams definitely do things like, hey, if they have a game in Miami, as opposed to getting on the plane right after the game, if they don't have a game the next day, they will sometimes get on the plane the next morning.
Maybe because now the game is over.
Right.
Not before the game.
Yeah. No.
Come on, man. I don't know what you're thinking about that. That would be insane. If I heard Mike Brown did that, I would be very disappointed.
And I also know that teams, if they're playing the Knicks on a Sunday matinee, they'll get in Saturday night, and then they always say road teams have a tough time on the Sunday matinee because they went out in New York City the night before.
Well, yeah, that's up to them. But listen, you're not going to get in Sunday morning.
Right.
If you're playing a Sunday matinee, you have to get in Saturday night. So
Sure.
It's a question of whether your guys can calm themselves down and chill on a Saturday night, but they have to come in Saturday night for a Sunday matinee. If it's that's like saying, okay, we got a game against the Knicks Monday. Let's get in Saturday at 5 so the guys can chill out. That would be insane. Are you nuts?
I think the modern NBA player is much less, likely to while out the night before. Definitely the Knicks roster, except for maybe Jordan Clarkson. Jordan Clarkson seems like a dude who might.
I know, but you're still. You don't listen, man. If I don't want my dog to eat any meat, I'm not going to leave a steak at the front of his cage. Come on, man.
No, I hear you. No. I hear you. All right, so let's give Landry Shamet his due, man.
Shamey, baby.
Wow. Yo, what a game by this guy. The guy, and did you see his post-game comments by chance?
I did not.
Very cool. He's just talking about how, you go back to having that terrible injury last year, getting waived for the first time in his career, missing a bunch of time for the first time, and what it feels like to be able to do it in front of that crowd, and how much he loves the New York fans. You could tell. First of all, I think he could have gotten more than a minimum if he would have went out and shopped himself on the open market this offseason. He'll surely be able to get more than a minimum this offseason.
Yeah.
Knicks need to try and go ahead and do a Deuce McBride deal with him right now. And that guy, what?
Totally stealing my material there. I said that exact line to you as we were watching the game last night.
Did you? Wow. Yeah.
Copyright infringement.
Well, you're absolutely right. Most of my lines I've stolen from you. But I just think that this guy, I've always kind of been a fan of his. I've always been screaming for him to get some more time, get some more minutes, feeling like he could make an impact. And I think he competes on defense. And then he shows you last night, he's going to the rack, he's laying kids. Landry Shamet, this guy is a legitimate NBA rotational player. And you see that Mike Brown from the beginning, even when Mitch doesn't start, him getting the starts, he's shown the faith in him. And obviously, it's paid dividends.
Yeah, his confidence is brimming. You can see that with him, with his style of play. And just in everything he does, man, I like he makes serious movements on the court, but not any just languishing movements. When he cuts, he cuts. When he goes to the basket, he goes. When he makes a move to catch the ball and shoot, he's just ready to react. And I love that about him. I love that about his game. And like you said, man, his defense, he plays the 1 to the 3. He plays good defense, man. And he it's hard, man. He makes it hard. He moves his feet very well. He's a little frenetic in his D, and I just love the way the energy he brings on a every minute basis out there, and he's clearly played himself into a strong rotational position with the Knicks. He's first, if not in the starting lineup, he's first man off the bench at this point, right?
He's first man off the bench. He's definitely getting in the game before Deuce.
And Deuce, Jordan Clarkson, I mean, he's getting in the game first.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, he's that guy, and he deserves it. Now, that said, I think Deuce, Clarkson, and Shamet are all doing a fantastic job. They're all doing a good job. Deuce could do better, fantastic right now, Deuce is all right. I'm not worried about Deuce. Deuce is going to be all right. He's all right. His dribbling ain't that bad. I don't know why you love OG's dribbling so much and you're so uptight with Deuce.
Listen, I think that OG's dribbling has gotten better.
OG's palms are way too fat.
is 6'8", and Deuce is 6'1". He needs to be a better dribbler at that size.
True. That'll be helpful.
What we saw the other day in Orlando, that time where he just like dribbled the ball off his foot out of bounds, like on the baseline, you rarely see NBA guards do that.
That wasn't good.
So rarely see them do that. Man. And he does something like that. Whenever he's forced to dribble extensively, there's going to be something like that happens. And I just think to me, it's just such a glaring deficiency of his game, and something that if he improved, it would make his game so much better. I think part of the reason he doesn't go to the hole and finish like we saw Shamet do a couple exactly, where Shamet a couple times and he's able to keep that ball in one hand and then put the
Let me tell you something too. And Shamet will flush it on.
He buffed on this guy Ware yesterday. Yeah. Buffed on him, like went up with two hands and ended up finishing it with one. Yes, man. And that guy Ware's a serious shot blocker.
You know, and his emotion after the game or near the end of the game.
Yes,
you gotta love it, man. You gotta love everything you're seeing out of Shamey right now. I need to see more. I don't know. I was going. I'm here at home and I'm screaming at the TV. I don't know why I scream that so much.
Shamey. Josh Hart with the triple-double.
Josh Hart. Well, now I know you gave me an assignment today. You texted me a sign that I watched the presser for Mike Brown after the game.
Yep.
He was quite ebullient, quite pumped up on the team, and especially Josh Hart's 4 for 4 on 50-50 balls. And his shrieking about Mitch Robinson was interesting.
Oh, that was one of the main reasons that I wanted you to watch it, just so I could get your reaction to that.
Listen, man.
You say interesting. What do you mean by interesting?
Oh, no, I don't have a problem with it. But you can do and say whatever the fuck you want as long as we're winning. You see, that's what I'm saying, Nick. Like we will speak about other coaches. Depending on what you do, if you're winning, nothing matters. It's cool.
Right.
If you're not winning, you're under the microscope, and that looks stupid.
Right.
You know?
Right.
There you have it.
Yeah. Listen, I love, it's refreshing to me just
he's
how
very transparent.
Yes.
Very candid. Very glib.
Yes.
That may come back to haunt him, but I hope it doesn't.
Again, those are the things that'll probably be annoying, if the team's not playing well.
So but I love the fact I love the way,
but I love the way he took him to task after they didn't play well against Orlando.
100%.
That was one of my things. Another thing about Mike Brown that I've noticed, when he got mic'd up for a game for MSG, the things he was saying were like tactical to these guys. And at one point, somebody went to walk away from him, and they didn't even show too much of what he was saying beforehand, but he looked at me, he's like, does that make sense to you? Like, so you could tell he just said something to them more than just like, move the ball, like, like, I mean, going back to D'Antoni, that used to drive me nuts, where it just seemed like all he was saying was like, we gotta go, come on. And it was just like, during these timeouts and during these breaks in the action, is he talking to them anything about like, hey, I'd like you to do this specifically because this guy is doing this? And so, so far, obviously, Mike Brown, specifically on the offensive end, has done a fantastic job. Defensively, we got to do better. I still think that we get into this habit of overhelping sometimes. And Brunson, as much as I love him, and I think he's played better on defense this more, he's been more aggressive, he's been more of a pest. He sometimes gets caught just like sagging, and then, now that three is one pass away and he's a step slow. And when you're his size, you can't be a step slow. The guy's just raising up and shooting a wide open three at that point. There is something that is an aspect of the game we have to get better at. And as much as the offense has been great, the defense makes me a little bit nervous. I know at one point we were still like top 10 overall in defensive rating. And, we're top 5 in offensive rating. We're number 1 in offensive rebounds. We're also number 1 in 3-point makes, which the combination of those two things is just like really, really hard to deal with. But defensively, we still need to go up a tick if we really want to, be there at the end.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I think you know what. Sometimes, like when you're so good offensively, your defensive stats are going to skew, and they're going to skew badly because there's more possessions.
Yeah.
More possessions. So I think we'll be fine. I think, as Mitch plays more, our defense will only get better. I mean, Mitch is such a key to what we do, Nick. I mean, if we need to have Mitch. I read one quote from the coach, and he said, if we, it's one thing to want to win now, but the main thing is to be in your best shape come May and June.
Sure.
And if Mitch is healthy for us throughout the playoffs and can play major starters minutes throughout the playoffs, that is a huge problem for everyone to deal with. People are gonna come up with by the end of the year so many things to try to mess with Mitch that we just have to be smart in how we react to it, because there will be an incredible amount of opportunities because they're going to try everything to neutralize this guy. If Mitch could ever become a 65% foul shooter, I don't know how we'd lose. I really don't know how we'd lose.
Yeah.
He's that integral, and if he could shoot the foul shots at even, dude, man, get Rick Barry over there, something, man. Get this guy right.
You want him to go underhand?
I want him to do whatever the fuck puts the ball in the rim, in the rim. I mean, come on, man. I mean, I just can't believe that nobody can't work with this guy.
Dad, I mean, we watched a guy like Shaq his entire career not be able to figure it out. And they say that Shaq shot pretty well in practice. They say the same thing about Mitch. That's the thing that is amazing.
Shaq has huge hands, though. I don't think Mitch has those huge hands.
He doesn't have that huge of hands, but I think that with both of them, it's a lot of it is a mental thing.
It is.
Dad, I've watched.
So hypnotize him.
My son, he couldn't believe it when I showed him a video of Mitch in the offseason playing with regular dudes, and he's shooting threes, pull up, from behind the arc after crossing cats up. It's like, that's the level of skill this guy is on a regular basketball court with regular people. But when you get him standing at the line by himself in an NBA basketball game, it just changes, and it's clearly he needs like a sports psychologist or some shit like that.
Yeah, that shouldn't change between warm ups or playing with other guys and in a real game, because no one's guarding you at the foul line. So you should be able to do both.
It's the bright lights, man.
Maybe.
You know how it is. You got shades on because of the bright lights.
You know what I'm saying?
Yo, those shades look pretty good on you, man. You got some new shades or something like that?
You know what I'm saying? Styling, profiling.
Yeah, you stole my shades like I stole your take. But
I'm in my house, they're mine.
Oh yeah, I hear that. Listen, man, Mike Brown. First of all, we played zone yesterday for like a quarter, and it worked out pretty well. I thought that was great. I just like the experimentation that's going on. You talk about being your best in May and June. I think that when it comes to different lineups and different abilities to adjust to what's going on in the court, the Knicks are going to be their best in May and June because they're going to have, tried these things out throughout the course of the season.
Yes.
And, there's an opportunity to step up. I thought it was interesting that, guys like Kolek, get no minutes, even with Brunson out. No OG. No Brunson, and Kolek gets a DMP, Pacome gets a DMP, and so does Diawara. I think that if OG misses extended time, we're going to see a little bit more Diawara.
I think we'll see more Diawara for sure. Kolek, I mean, Nick, I get it. Kolek get minutes, but see, I don't give a shit about that, man. If we win and everybody's, nobody's getting ground into dust, whether or not Kolek gets minutes is just not. It's not on my top 7 of issues with the Knicks. It's just.
I agree. There are some people I saw, specifically my guy Lefty on Knicks Twitter, who were screaming that why is a guy like this guy Pell Larson? He's drafted after Kolek and Dadier, and he's already a contributor there. We're not developing our young guys.
They're the Miami Heat. They're not that good. I mean, they beat us one.
I think if the Miami Heat if they're healthy, if they get Tyler Hero and Bam back added to that team, I think that they're going to be one of the 4 best teams in the Eastern Conference this year.
But Larson gets minutes because they don't have anybody better. I mean,
no, Larson
pretty good.
Plays and he's pretty good. Yeah.
He's pretty good, but I'm saying he's better than the other players they have. Kolek is not better than the other people we have at his position. He's just not.
Yeah. I think it's pretty. I think it's kind of sad clear that he can't get any minutes even with. I'm not even saying like he should get the minutes. I'm saying it's just sad that he's not, that he can't, that he's not in the rotation.
He got minutes some games. He hadn't got minutes like the last 2 games. I mean, that's
I think it's a little bit longer than that. They dedicated him to the G League.
He's in the G League now?
Yeah.
Well, good. So he's getting some burn. So he's running around. He's playing. Good for him. He needs to play.
He needs to play.
Yeah.
He needs to play. Yo, Cat has a 31-point first half, and I went back and rewatched a lot of the game last night, most of the second and third quarter, and what I thought was great was in the second half they started keying on him, and even though he's got 31 and he's going off, and I mean that run he had in the second corner where he's just bombing away threes from all over the court. I mean, it's just like if you're the other team, it's like what are we doing with this guy right now? Like he's 7 feet tall, he's banging threes, he can dribble past you too. I mean, yeah, just excellent. Like Cat at his absolute peak, especially in that second quarter.
100%.
31 first half points. Second half they start keying on him, and he just proceeds to just over and over again make the correct play. I mean, I just thought that it was just such a fantastic game by Cat.
He played very, very well yesterday and has for the last a few games. Well, not the Orlando game. But, yeah, he looked great last night, man. The team was playing through him, and he made the other team, he made them pay. And if he keeps playing like that, again, that'll be a huge for us. He seems much more comfortable this season.
Especially after those first few games.
Yes.
When we were about 2-3, and you were pulling your hair out about him getting held by this guy Kuzma or whatever.
Yes.
but
see, he seems to be playing smart now. I feel like if he played against this guy Kuzma now, he could do better against him. I think he was almost too herky jerky and just like, dude, just calm down. You're 7 foot tall. This guy cannot hold you. Just take your time and do him. And that's what I think he's doing now. Early in the season, he was trying to make it happen too quickly. Now he's just getting the ball, and if it's not there, pass it out, get it back.
Yeah. And I also feel like we as a team and as a coaching staff are doing a better job of getting him the ball.
Definitely.
I thought it was great, the love that Mike Brown was giving his assistant coaches. Something else that's refreshing to hear where, he's talking about how Rick Brunson that is, he was saying, hey, play through Cat. I think that, I love the energy that Mike Brown gives off. And, obviously we're still in the honeymoon phase. We'll see how that goes. I think that his system has probably benefited Josh Hart more than anybody, and we also have to give a little bit of time and speak about our guy Jordan Clarkson because I mean, what an upgrade over campaign he is. He's 3 inches taller, has a normal looking jump shot, and can also pass the ball a little bit. Everybody talked about how he plays no defense. I don't know what was going on with him before.
I do not see that.
But he plays aggressive, hard, smart, I don't know, pestering defense. I don't know if that's a word, but I just think that he's been, exactly what we need off the bench, and especially, depending on how long Brunson's going to be out, we're going to need him to continue to do his thing. There's going to be times like in that Orlando game where he takes a shot where it's just like, yo, we don't need that right now.
No.
But he hits that shot sometimes, so it's like you got to take all part of the experience.
You've got to take quite a few terrible shots for me to get to the point where I'm like, stop shooting. Because right now, I love watching this guy play, man. He's been exciting.
Remember there was a time where you were like, I don't want this guy on my team.
Of course there was. I told you. He's totally won me over. The endorsement of a wholehearted endorsement from Brunson and Josh Hart, saying they had a history with him, saying they knew him, saying he's a good guy, love having him as a teammate. That took me a long way. And then watching him play now so far this season, listen, the first couple games, not so much, but he's gotten comfortable. Again, he's looking great. Let's go. They're excited to play. You can tell. They want to come out and play every game. I don't feel like there's any negativity on the team. I feel like it's all positive vibes. I think the guys who aren't playing clearly do not have enough sway to pull any kind of negative vibes into the room.
Who are you talking about? Yabuk
No, I'm saying if they were that type, but I don't think anybody on the team right now is grumbling or, got any negative feelings. I'm saying even if they felt that way, they couldn't do it because you ain't big enough to do that.
Don't have enough cachet.
Yeah, pipe down. But nobody's saying anything because we're all, it seems like we got a positive bunch and whatnot. Hey, listen, those guys on the bench, they're going to get some run at some point. Something's going to happen, and you're going to need to see some more of Diawara or Kolek and so forth. And Yabusele, with what's his name going down now, with OG going down, you're going to see more of Yabusele. That's a fact.
Yeah, I was surprised that but even though with OG only playing 5 minutes last night, we still didn't see any of him. So that'll be interesting.
Yeah, you saw Yabusele played last night, but not much.
Oh, I'm okay. I'm sorry. I thought you were talking about
Diawara.
I was just
no Diawara last night. No, not yet.
I feel
he'll get out there.
I want to see some Diawara.
Me too.
And Yabusele, he only played 6 minutes, but he's he seems like he's starting to, at least he's hitting a shot every once in a while.
Right.
He's not just totally getting beaten on the defensive end like we've seen sometimes recently. But the Heat, I'm telling you,
he doesn't look as fat. He's not looking like Big Butt Bookman as much anymore.
Yeah, that's a reference for all of you boomers out there. And
good times fans.
Davion Mitchell, he's the one who had something to say
right.
about the Knicks, being harder to guard without Brunson. He's a good young guard. This guy Ware, he's a decent center. Wiggins is a guy who's playing well for that team. Norman Powell is just a walking bucket. Jaime Jaquez, I can't stand him. Yo, Powell, he's a baller, man. I mean, he's just a straight up, just like every level type scorer.
Yeah.
Deadly. He's very, very good. And Miami got him for like nothing.
I didn't watch him closely, but is his defense terrible?
No.
So
pretty good.
I mean, why is this guy not heralded much higher?
He was the number one All-Star sub last year in the West. So last year, he did very well for the Clippers, and the Clippers basically just they couldn't fit everybody. They basically went for Bradley Beal over him, and we see how that worked out.
I mean, come on, man. Even before the injury this year, why you would pick Bradley Beal over him? I guess they couldn't do anything with Bradley Beal. They had to keep him. He was under contract. He gets paid so much money. So you had to keep him.
No. But Bradley Beal, that was like they did like some crazy 3-way trade where like Bradley Beal was on the Suns last year, remember?
Right.
So it's not like they decided to say, okay, what we need to do is like upgrade from Powell to Bradley Beal, which
wow.
Bradley Beal at his very best was a really good player. Me personally, there's something about Powell's game that I like a little bit more.
Me too. Powell's more of a scorer. Bradley Beal's a shooter. I mean, to me, Bradley Beal's just really a good shooter. But that's about it. And
the injury-prone part.
Yeah.
I saw something the other day with a proposed trade talking about AD coming to the Knicks and the Knicks trading Cat to
zero chance.
The Mavericks.
Cat plays easily double the amount of games.
And he's just AD at his very best is really good, but he's just never healthy. Never.
No, he's never healthy. If I knew AD was going to be healthy, I would take AD over Cat. If I knew he'd be healthy, he's a better player. He's a more talented guy.
He is, but I don't know if he works with our roster as well. Just because AD is a guy that he's not a spot. He can shoot, but he's not a guy who's just like as much of a spot up shooter, stretch the floor type of guy. He's more of a guy you got to give the ball to and kind of let him work.
Yeah,
I don't think we need much more than that. More of that than we get from Brunson.
His work is real, and
especially
his defense is real.
His defense is real. But when you see like this team, and maybe Brunson needs to be taking notes when we're playing sometimes with Brunson. I thought in that Orlando game, and I think some of it was Orlando was forcing us into this by playing the passing lanes. Mm-hmm. But we were doing a little bit more ISO Brunson. And as we've seen with this team plays its best when the ball is moving. We haven't talked about Bridges yet, but Bridges is one of the most efficient offensive players in basketball. He had his rare off night last night, only going 6 of 21, 3 of 12 from 3. But he's going to give you the effort on the defensive end. 7 steals last night for Bridges.
7 steals.
Had 5 assists, 2 blocks. Bridges has just been having such an efficient, perfect start to the season, in my opinion, and ain't nobody talking about them 5 picks.
I told you a long time ago, those picks are like 20, 30, and 31. Those kids are in junior high. Forget that, man. Forget the picks, man.
Forget the picks.
Listen, man, we got a window right here, Nick. We need to win a championship in this next 3 years. We have that window. Yep. Those picks be damned, man. They don't mean shit to us.
Right.
Leon has put together a good team. Dude, we just got to keep growing, man. Keep growing. I don't think right now, and it's so early in the season, but I wouldn't say the Knicks need to do this, need to trade and get this. We need this on the team. I think we have, I hesitate to say, but I feel like we have a lot of what we need. It's just a question of how we put it together and how we play together.
Absolutely. I mean, the only thing that I could think about could say like, hey, maybe we need is another ball handler. Another like legitimate ball handler, off the bench. But I mean, maybe. I think that Jordan Clarkson, a little bit of Landry Shamet.
Yeah, those guys. I've been very happy with watching how Landry Shamet handles the ball when necessary.
But
he's decent.
But if we don't have Brunson in the game and we play a team that pressures like say Indiana did last year in the playoffs,
right?
It could get a little tough in like a playoff scenario.
I think with stuff like that, if you're smart in the NBA and you have a guy who can dribble the ball somewhat well, and you know how to set a flip and pick in the backcourt,
right,
as well as make smart passes up the court, have people coming to the ball, you can handle that.
Yeah.
You can handle that.
Way too often these last couple of years, it was just like try your best to get it into Brunson, and basically
and
Brunson
then everybody runs to the front court and let him deal with whatever. No. Yeah. No, we gotta free him up.
Gotta free him up for sure. Brunson, please get well soon. OG, please get well soon. We're getting to the time of day now where we should maybe hear something about some imaging with OG, but I haven't gotten any sort of prognosis on him. I'll give X a check as we go through. But after the game, we then had the second game, which was the Spurs versus the Dubs, aka Wemby versus Steph. Very, very good game. Wemby is an absolute alien, but Steph is still that dude, man. I mean, 37 years old, doesn't look like he's slowing down at all.
49
puts on an absolute show.
Crazy.
And, ends up getting the win for the Dubs. Talk to me. What did you think about that?
Loved the game. I mean, it was an exciting game. Steph is, he's still that guy, man. But Wemby, love watching Wemby. Love the fact that he's playing with some more emotion now. I love him getting it on with Draymond, not taking any guff. And listen, man. I like everything about Wemby, man. I mean, I got no problem with that guy's game, any part of his game, any part of his attitude. I told you he sold me when he got shaved the head and he did that Shaolin monk thing in the karate. I was like, this dude's serious, man. He wants to be the guy.
And, I mean, he has it all. Yeah, like you said, that tap dunk on the inbound on Draymond, which ended up not counting, actually.
It didn't count?
No, they went back and called it as like a foul on the floor. For a while, it seemed like it was going to count. But I just like you said, he wasn't taking no shit from Draymond. Got right in his face. And, I mean, his game is just continues to blossom. I mean, there's nothing on the floor he's not good at.
Right.
He's and not close to elite at. It's a combination of, it's like if you put Kevin Garnett, Giannis, and Kevin Durant all into like a blender, this is what you would get. It's
right.
insane.
And added 3 inches.
Right. And then made him like the tallest guy that I've ever seen. It's insane. It's insane what this guy can do. It's only going to get better. And to me, that game, the thing that I really jumped off the screen to me was that at the end of the game, they can't even get this guy the ball.
That was stupid. That was terrible. They have to do better. Coaches and players.
De'Aaron Fox.
You got to do better, man. You got to do better. You got to make this guy touch the ball. You got to make this guy in that situation.
That last play, they passed the ball into De'Aaron Fox on the the opposite free throw line, and then he's running up with like a head of steam. I'm sorry, but you have to run. Just have Wemby flash to like above the 3-point line and throw the ball up to him.
No one can stop him from receiving the ball.
Exactly. And then he's probably going to get fouled, probably.
Yeah.
Draymond's going to try some shit where he like pushes him low or whatever.
Yeah.
And, if not, once he gets the ball, there's so much gravity. Or Wemby, how about just throw it off the glass to yourself like he did earlier? I mean, it's just... Come
ridiculous.
on, man. It's crazy.
Ridiculous.
And it wasn't just even... That last possession was crazy because you called a timeout and you actually ran a play that seemed like there was no intention to get him the ball. But that last, few plays, 2 or 3 plays, they almost seemed like they were going away, like they weren't trying to get him the ball. I cannot understand it.
Nick, in the end of a game, if we had a last-second situation and they got the ball and never let Brunson touch the ball, you'd be like, what the fuck's going on?
Exactly.
You know, what is going on? It really defies logic.
And he's much easier to deny than
right.
The Brunson
right.
is than Wemby is. I mean, come on, man. I was very disappointed by that. And everybody likes this young coach in San Antonio, and clearly he's done a very good job this year. That team is exceeding expectations, and he's done a good job with Wemby. But Wemby kind of had a tough week. Then he kind of blew up again this week. And in that game, as much as some of those plays were just like eye popping, he only had like 22 points. And there was too many times where you felt like he was either passing the ball and it's making nice passes, but sometimes it's just like, yo, Wemby, brother. I need you taking a shot, and especially late in the game, I need Wemby getting the ball, and I need Wemby shooting or dunking the ball.
Right. No, there's definitely sometimes he's giving it up too much. He's got to get a little more selfish and dominant, and he can be all that and still be, the good teammate that he is. So I think he'll get there, though. I see nothing to make me feel like he's not going to be one of the greatest players of all time. For many years to come.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Wemby definitely has it all, and just Steph, the handle, the finishing ability. Obviously, the shooting, the pump, relocate, the movement without the ball. Nothing seems like it has slowed down, and it seems like it could slow down a couple. It doesn't even like. Or let me put it a different way. It doesn't seem like he's going to slow down much because Steph doesn't even really look like he's ever like sprinting.
No, but he is. Shit, he's fast.
I know, but when he's running around and stuff like that, it's more just like. Deception and stuff like that. And like he's running like 80-90% sometimes, but he's never like this just all out going most of the time. And then when he's got the ball in his hands, I mean his handle and the ability to finish from every angle with English and just he's such a joy to watch. He's such a joy to watch. And like we said, we were talking about during the game, Steph, his ability to shoot where he shoots from as far as distance from the hoop has revolutionized the game, and you see a lot more guys trying to do stuff like Steph, but still no one has ever been able to catch up or even match or exceed what he does and get to the point where it's like, there's no Kobe to Jordan when it comes to
there's no baby Steph.
Right. No one.
No, not yet.
It's crazy what that guy's been able to do, and like I said, I don't see him slowing down anytime soon. I hope he's a guy who wants to continue to play because he seems like he's got a few more years in him, and especially if they build around him and can take a little bit of his overall load off of him, then you never know what he could do. Speaking of guys who are getting a little bit older, and now they have some young players doing their thing, LeBron's almost back. Have you heard that?
I have heard that, and I think that's going to be really interesting to see what that Laker team looks like once he gets back, because they've been playing pretty well, man, and it's going to be an exciting team to watch, man. Those guys, and what's interesting is that now that Luke has really entrenched himself, and with Austin Reeves, it's going to be a nice little triumvirate with these three guys, and I'll be interested to see. LeBron's going to have to defer at times.
He's going to have to be an ancillary piece,
right? And that LeBron's never been a selfish ball player. I don't think he'll have any problem adjusting.
I was going to ask you what you thought, because I have seen a lot of people question whether or not LeBron coming back will kind of mess up what the Lakers have going on. I think similar to back when people said, him and Luka wouldn't work well together because they both need the ball. Listen. The guy is a basketball savant. He's going to figure out a way to impact the team in a positive way. I am interested to see, especially with now we have the emergence of Austin Reeves, if when LeBron comes back, that mutes Austin Reeves a little bit, which, I hope not, because I see what this guy Austin Reeves can do, and I'm hoping that, LeBron can be the one who is a little bit more like, filling lanes, getting offensive rebounds. But at the end of the day, there's going to be times where you need LeBron to do LeBron things, and there's certain things in the game that he can do that he's better at than anybody. So anybody thinking that adding that to your team is somehow going to be a detriment, I just think that's crazy. There's a guy like Westbrook who there's some people who will defend Westbrook and just think it's absolutely nuts that some people feel like that Westbrook went so long without having a job. And I personally do see some of the deficiencies in Westbrook's game. I see that he's been just, easily, if not pushed out the door, at least, walked out the door by so many different organizations here recently. Yeah. Whereas LeBron, I just don't see how he couldn't help a team. I think that whole narrative is crazy.
It's not even comparable. LeBron will figure out a way to make his presence on the Lakers felt and do what's necessary for the team to win. I think LeBron has no problem being a facilitator. He would like to win again. And if he has to take like a lesser role in scoring, but he's able to fill different roles on the team, which I am extremely confident that he will, I think he's going to be just fine and help those guys play. I think LeBron would play center if he has to, to make it all work. And, he'd probably do that better than most of the centers in the league, So, yeah, I think they're going to be fine.
No doubt. Talking about teams that are playing well out in the West, the Lakers are playing very well. Houston's playing very well. Denver's playing very well. But the class of the league, the defending champs, I want to read a tweet that I read earlier this week to you about the Oklahoma City Thunder. I mean, they're 12-1. Obviously, they're just, like I said, the absolute class of the league right now. And what's even crazier when you look at them is the fact that they're doing all of this without their second best player.
I know.
So actually, I think they're 13-1 now. But OKC, this is from Tommy Beer, who, if you want like obscure stats, good analysis, and a lot of it focused on the Knicks. I subscribe to his Substack, and he's got great articles there. Definitely a great follow on X. But he said OKC is somehow more dominant this season. They're 12-1, and Jalen Williams has yet to play a single second. What's even crazier is that the Thunder has 4 first-round picks in the loaded 2026 draft, including 2 projected lottery picks. They own the rights to the Jazz and the Clippers selections.
Oh, smokes. This guy Sam Presti is the Howie Roseman of the NBA.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's even more impressive what he's doing. I
agree.
This guy, it's just like they're loaded, and now they're probably going to lose like a guy like a Hartenstein, but they're going to be able to fill that in with a young guy who isn't getting paid a lot. Their roster, I mean, they just continue. It seems like every time I watch them, I see some new guy who I'm like, yo, who is this guy, and how is he just like can't miss?
Why is he so good?
Shea Butter continues to do his thing, and then like we said, Jalen Williams, second best player. Had a fantastic playoffs and finals last year, and now this guy, I don't even know what his like timetable is when he's supposed to be coming back.
Yeah, I thought he'd be back already, but yeah, he's good. He's really good.
Yeah, I mean, you got the guy Lou Dort, he's fantastic, and then this guy like AJ Mitchell, he comes off the bench and he can't miss. Aaron Wiggins killed the Knicks last year.
I know.
Man, they're a problem. They're a problem. Them and Denver,
they're a huge problem.
Them and Denver are the 2 teams that I would be a little bit nervous if the Knicks met up with them in the finals. I think that the Knicks can handle anybody in the East. I think that the Lakers, Denver, and OKC are all obviously quite formidable, and would probably be favorites against the Knicks in a series. But I mean, there's so much season left. We'll see.
Still early. Still
very early. Bulls kind of coming back to earth a little bit. Like we said, Detroit is playing really, really well. Nico Harrison.
Hey,
Nico's got to go.
I think, he kind of took the fall for all that. See, I refuse to believe that all those trades happened, and this was clearly the owners gave the approval for it. He did not trade Luka without.
I mean, the owner has to give approval to any call,
right?
But you would want an owner that gives the decision-making process and the final say to a GM or a president of basketball operations.
I think the owner had to want to do that. You know what I mean? So,
really?
Yeah, Nick, because I don't think – why would you trade Luka? Just because your GM came and said to you, I think we should make this trade because we can get back AD?
No, if you're the owner's not a basketball person.
I get it. But you know who the hell your players are. If you're thinking about trading Luka, you have to give me a compelling reason to do it, or it has to be something I want to do.
See, I don't believe
I
it.
I don't think you just brought up something to me and I said, you know what, go with it. And then even if I did do that, I did give approval, like you said, that's natural. And then I think, it ends up not selling well. It ends up not selling well at all. I think they had a bad start to the season. They're getting very bad pub and, they this, that, and the other thing. So the owner decides to do that. Or maybe there's some other shit. We'll never know. But, why do we think he got fired? Because of the Luka trade?
1,000%. I think
But
that
what? The owner's upset with him. Why?
because I think when he comes to him, he says, "Listen, I trust you. If this is what you want to do, then
Right.
or actually, and it's actually a she. She says, I trust you. If this is what you want to do, then okay, let's go ahead and trade this guy.
And so
then
then
after the trade happens, now the entire world is like, this is the worst trade ever. The fans are up in arms. The attendance goes way down, and then the next season, the guys that you traded for don't play, and everybody's like, of course they don't play. This guy never plays, and you go, why did he make this decision?
Nick, I hear you on all of that. If that were the case in the bubble, I'd say great. But I'm sorry. If this woman owns the basketball team, she's a very bright person. You know who AD is, okay?
No, I don't think that's
she does not have any idea that AD is injury prone.
Dad, I think that if she's not a basketball person,
Okay, Nick, but I get it. She may not be a basketball person, but I think
my
she
wife
doesn't
doesn't know that he's AD is
Your wife
injury
doesn't
prone.
own the team.
I know, but what I'm saying is that this woman bought the team as an investment. She didn't buy the team as she bought the team as an investment, and she's upset that they're not letting her do the casino stuff that she wants. There's this whole conspiracy theory that they're trying to make the team bad so that they can get out of Dallas and go to Vegas, and she can build all the casino stuff that she wants. I don't even know about that, but
if that's
I just
the case,
think,
why would you fire Nico?
what do you mean? Oh well, no. I think, listen. My theory. My theory is that she said, "You're the GM. If this is what you want to do, you make the basketball decisions." And I think that basketball decision has gone so terribly that's why she's not. If she wanted to trade him and she knew all these things, then she wouldn't fire him now.
That's what I'm saying to you. I think things are going badly, so she's like, fire him. But I'm sorry, man. She had to know.
No, I think
anybody
we're saying
you
opposite
spoke to who has any idea what the NBA is, when you brought up the subject of trading Luka, they were like, what do you... Everybody was up in arms about that immediately, to think to trading Luka. So she had to know that would be met with a strong reaction, if not a strong negative reaction from most. I don't know how you don't know that if you follow the NBA at all.
I'm not sure she follows the NBA at all. And I think that overall she trusted her GM, and now she doesn't trust him anymore, and that's why he's out.
If she doesn't follow the NBA at all and has no idea, she needs to hire a president of basketball operations, and that person hire the GM, because you need somebody in charge who actually follows the game. Other than the GM, obviously, if you are the only stop person above the GM, and you let the GM do whatever he wants, and you have no idea that a basketball is round, then you shouldn't be. You need somebody in between you and the GM. Then I think to do what you should.
I think GM and president of basketball operations are interchangeable.
Okay.
In some org, we don't have it. The Knicks don't have a GM.
Right.
They just have a president of basketball.
But they got Leon.
Yeah, and clearly, for the first time, Dolan has totally gotten out of the way and just trusted this guy. And, he's made, listen, there's been a couple trades that he's made that were somewhat controversial. I
think just to come to that decision, this quickly afterwards, after half of last year and barely not even a quarter of this year, you're like, okay, that's it, get him out. And because fan reaction has been bad, I don't know how you don't, what do you think fan reaction is going to be? And then the fact that this guy's injured. Everybody said that immediately as the trade happened. But again, like you say, if she has no idea about anything,
if she did, then like you said, it wouldn't make sense for her to now fire him. I think it only makes sense if she was just like, "Hey, I trust you," and now she's like, "Hey, this didn't work out at all, bud. You're out."
Well, if she's making that decision that quick after a trade, everybody she hires, if she's willing to fire them, basically a third, not even 2/3 of the season after they make a decision. Every time she's going to keep revolving.
Yeah, but this is extraordinary circumstances.
This is extraordinary
because it's literally the worst trade of all time. I mean, nobody who likes basketball was like, "Oh, this is such a good trade." I saw just a few people out there trying to justify, "Oh, well, maybe it's not that bad." But the overwhelming reaction, as you were saying, was, "What are you doing? You don't trade Luka." Yeah, I know that Luka had some issues with
that's
getting
why I have
in
a
shape.
hard time just letting her off the hook. I really do. I get it, how she might think he's an idiot or he made a bad trade, but I can't let the owner totally off the hook here.
I mean, if
she knows nothing about her product here, this billion-dollar product that she owns, then I don't know.
If I owned an F1 team tomorrow, or a rugby team, or a cricket team, and somehow, some way, if I had the money and it was something that I wanted to do, I would have to have people that I trust to make decisions, and I'd have to go with whatever they say, because any opinions I have on it would be bullshit.
Right, but I also think that if I allowed you to make, if you're my F1 driver, my F1 GM, and I allowed you to make a big move like that, I don't think I'd be so quick to pull the plug and say that was a horrible idea. I would let it last at least out the season and see how it works. But there might be a lot of
the
other
next
things
day
that
it was
work.
Universally panned. I might feel a little bit differently.
Right. Again, Nick, I cannot believe she was surprised by that and she thought they were going to get applauded for it. Come on. If that's the case, she's stupid. I'm sorry.
I think
she's
she's
stupid.
ignorant. I think if you go back
Trade
and say,
Luka, it's not like you're trading anybody. You're trading Luka.
Yeah, but when
one of the 3 or 4 most coveted players in the league for a variety of reasons. Okay, you don't just trade like that guy lightly. And I don't believe he said something to her, then she didn't talk to anybody else about it, and she just told him, you know what, Nico, go for it. And here it is, 6 months later, she's like, that sucked, Nico. Get out. Look, I'm sure Nico's a very comfortable man and all that, but I just don't let her off the hook. I think, there's some like the owner for Phoenix, all the shit that he did, and then decided, okay, pull the plug.
But he was
he
active.
knows basketball.
Yes,
he's very active.
He's active. He's put a lot of, he's
and he
inserted himself into the decision
and he still has made some really stupid decisions.
Yeah, Phoenix, one of the surprise teams in the league right now.
Right now, yeah.
Playing well.
But I mean, everybody he brought in last year, that was a disaster.
Yeah.
But who knows? Now they may be turning it around. Good luck for them.
Now, instead of just going out there and playing, NBA 2K or fantasy basketball, they have pieces that fit a little bit more, and they're playing obviously a whole lot better. But yeah, Nico, all-time, terrible trade, and I thought this was only a matter of time. It just happened even faster than expected, and I don't like what they're doing with my guy Cooper Flagg. I think asking him to play point guard is ridiculous.
That's stupid. That's stupid. I mean, I feel kind of like that's Jason Kidd trying to be Mr. Outside the Box. Dude,
Jason Kidd, who many people say the Knicks wanted as their head coach.
Yeah. So now what are we going to have? Jalen Brunson playing power forward? No. Have this guy playing up front court position, and have the right point guard feeding him the ball in the right spot. Yeah, he can put it on the floor, but if you put that guy in the right spots, he can spot up, shoot. Dude, I think that's a foolish move. I trying to reinvent the wheel here, guy. Don't do that.
And you're just asking too much of him. I mean, long term, he's not a Luka where he could be that size, and he's just got an unbelievable handle and feel for the game, and he's been playing professional ball since he's 14. First of all, this guy, he's supposed to still be a college freshman right now. Remember, he graduated high school early. His twin brother is playing freshman college ball right now, and I just don't. No one can explain to me. I don't care if you're talking about his development. No. I think it's going to stunt his development, if anything. It's kind of like throwing him to the fire, and I just don't think it's the right way to do things. And I mean, if you would have said before this season that when you start talking about NBA rookie first team, that Cooper Flagg might not be in the conversation, you'd be like, yo, that's
unbelievable. Crazy. Yeah, he's not. Yeah, they got to figure out better ways to make him work. I don't know, man. I was a little suspect with Jason Kidd when he was coach at the Nets.
Nets. He had a decent stint at the Bucks.
Yeah. You better not mess this up, man. That kid is way too good. We'll see.
You got to hit when you get Cooper Flagg for sure.
For sure.
The New York Jets. Yo, man. Listen, we let you use the prop. We got to be a little tighter than that the next time.
I know, it was a bit of a click. Whatever. We'll get it right.
But yo, man, they lose to the Patriots. They were a little bit more competitive than you would expect.
Right.
Obviously, we have some new guys on the team. Mitchell can't catch. I do like this guy, Mitchie.
Mitchie, yeah.
My question is, can we go ahead and admit that, giving Justin Fields $30 million guaranteed and going into the season with him as our starting quarterback was a mistake?
It's extremely frustrating. I think, what's his name said the other night, Herb Street, who knows him well, obviously, the Ohio State connection. And he said, listen, this has zero to do with ability.
He said this multiple times during the broadcast.
Yeah,
actually.
I mean, and the guy has elite abilities, with his legs and even his arm. But he just won't let it go. And, he just, Nick, you come to realize more and more that it's between the ears. A lot of guys can have physical ability, but even a lot of these guys we're seeing now that are resurgent, it's because they've been in the league for 3-4 years and they've learned under the right people. And that's brought them up, But I think even if we could segue real quick to like a Sam Darnold, even Sam Darnold, I think if he had the right people teaching him, would not have been as good as he is now until his second, maybe third year. He needed a little time to see what's going on and understand it. Now, we'll never know that for sure. That's just me thinking off the top of my head.
I don't think he was ready to be a world beater straight out of college. But
right.
I think that, I thought that in that last season with the Jets, he showed the potential that he would have, what he could be, especially considering what we put around him and, the fact that he had to live through Adam Gase. But
let's remember, too, he looked shitty that first year. Where was he, Carolina or something, when he left the Jets?
Yeah.
He was not good.
Yeah.
He was not good. But when he got with, who is it, McVay or O'Donnell?
He got some Shanahan time.
Then that O'Connell time.
And then he got O'Connell time, yeah. And, yeah.
These have made a huge, huge difference for him. So, I don't know. I don't believe there's anything at the end of the rainbow for Justin Fields that way.
No way.
I don't believe that with him.
I saw somebody the other day say that Justin Fields would be he's a really good rugby. They said the Jets have a rugby player at quarterback.
Yeah, kind of, sort of. He just needs to,
Justin
listen.
Fields is one of these guys who he might need to go like the Peyton Hillis route, where it's like, can he catch a pass? Can you be on a team where you're like you play a little tight end?
Or do almost like a Cordell Stewart thing.
You know what I'm saying? Slash type shit.
I don't know. I really think now, this week, playing against Baltimore, I think they're going to end up going to Tyrod Taylor. If not at the start of the game, by mid-game, unless Justin Fields comes out and plays really well. I think they may start Tyrod Taylor this game.
Yeah? You think?
I think it may get to that. But I can see going out there. Listen, Aaron Glenn is loyal to a fault to his guys, right? And he wants to give this guy the best opportunity, but at some point, the defense played well enough to have us in that game last week, going into the half and so forth. And, this guy just couldn't, and it's not even so much that he played so badly that the interception sucked, but he just didn't play well enough. You know what I mean? He didn't do anything to lift the team or anything like that. And that's a problem. You need that from your quarterback.
It's clearly his ability to process that. He doesn't do the read option well. The one time that he scored the touchdown, it was the wrong read on the read option.
I heard Herb Street say that. But you know what, Nick? I also think two things. I think, number one, I think we watch things and sometimes we think, he made the wrong read. I don't think it's as clear and cut and dry when we're watching as to the guy in the field, number one. Number two, that's the wrong read unless you're Justin Fields, and you can outrun that guy to the pylon. And when he decided he was going to run, nobody could catch him.
I've seen him do that exact same thing and not be able to beat that guy.
Right, and get caught.
And if you look at that, I've seen the replay on the all 22 screen where it's a little bit above. I mean, Brees would have walked into the end zone. He had the entire convoy and just everything right there. Now, he's athletic enough that he was able to get the corner. That guy did not take the best angle and, didn't stay disciplined enough, and he was able to score. But the misreading of the read option has been an issue for him all season, and especially those people that break down film and are smarter than I have shown it plenty of times this season where he doesn't read that well. And I mean, that's something that at this point in his career, especially with the way that he usually plays when he's on the field, the amount of read options he's probably done, you would think he'd be pretty proficient and pretty good at it. Little stat right here that I got from Rich Cimini. The Jets are averaging a league low 139.9 passing yards per game. That would be the lowest in the NFL since 2022. The Bears then averaged 130.5. Common denominator, Justin Fields.
Right. He has to, he has to do a lot of things better than that. I think too that, okay, so if you put Tyrod Taylor in the game, that whole read option thing is kind of out, right?
You know me, I want to see Brady Cook.
Right, but you're not going to just start Brady Cook because you're telling the team then you still want to win games, Nick, and that's important for the players on that team.
You told the team that winning games wasn't the most important thing when you traded away the two best defensive players on the team.
I don't think that, Nick. I think the guys on that team still want to win games.
Of course, I know that they still want to win, but I'm saying that,
and you can't coach any other way.
I'm saying that as far as the organization, if their goal was to win games this season, then they wouldn't have traded away the two best defensive players.
No, but I don't mean it like that. I mean, every game you go out there, you try to win games. Whether you traded somebody or not, you're trading them because you see the future, but you're still trying to win this game right now. So trading these guys...
But you play Brady Cook because you're trying to look at the future.
I get that, but you're going to have much chance to play Brady Cook, I think, the last 3, maybe 4 games of the season. I don't think there's any rush to play Brady Cook because once you play Brady Cook and he sucks, now what do? You go back to Tyrod? No, you're going to play Tyrod first for the first couple games.
Tyrod. I don't see what clearly the Jets aren't going.
Games. You clearly don't think that this guy Brady Cook gives you as good a chance to win a game as Justin Fields or Tyrod Taylor. Clearly, they feel that way. Now, they could be wrong. Obviously, they believe they're right. But clearly, they don't. Like I said, this guy's not lighting it up in camp or practice to the point where they're like, we got to get this guy in the game.
Of course not. Of course
not. They don't think he's ready, Nick. And I think I believe them. But I think Tyrod Taylor, we're going to see him this week. And, he might give us the spark he needs. He might throw some balls, Nick, that this guy's simply not letting go, where people are open and he won't let it go quick enough. Now,
that's a fact.
That could lead to more turnovers. So we have to be ready for that. But I think everybody's willing to take that chance at this point.
We got nothing to lose.
Right.
When we're down by 2 scores and there's 11 minutes to go and we come out and go run, pass, punt, I'm like, at this point in the game.
I don't get it. What are we doing here? Why are we not passing the ball? Let's get aggressive. If he makes a mistake, so what? I don't understand what we're doing here. And that wasn't Justin Fields doing that necessarily. That was play calls.
That's play calls. And
so I'm not sure what we're doing.
I just don't think they have the confidence in him. And like I told you during the game, I said, we can't get down by 14. This team is not built to come back from being down by 14.
Yeah.
We have to play with a lead where we can run the ball on 3rd and 5 and hope that we're able to, execute and get a first down. If we get put in situations where it's 3rd and 5 plus and, we have to pass the ball and these defensive linemen can just say, hey, we're just going to rush the quarterback. I mean, not only is he not very accurate, not only does he throw the ball way too hard sometimes. I mean, that one where Mitchell catches the ball across, missed the ball like this, Mitchell's an NFL receiver. He should have caught that ball. You know what I mean? No doubt. But the ball was thrown a little bit too hard in that situation. Right. His pocket presence, man. I mean, Justin Fields, his pocket presence is dreadful. When it starts to break down around him, it seems like he has no idea where guys are coming from, and that's why he also leads the league in fumbles since he's been in the league.
It's a little hard to argue with any of that. I want to, root. I do root for Justin Fields, but sure. He's just, he leaves you wanting every single time. And it's like, except for a couple games this season, he has definitely left you wanting. Now, look, he can come out next game against Baltimore and play out of sight.
Even that second game that, people are like, oh, he played so well. That game against that's the game against Cleveland?
Yeah.
We got a kickoff and a punt return for a touchdown. I thought he played
I know that, Nick, but it's complimentary football. He played a good game. Game. Not great. He played a good game. If he could play like that every game, we'd have another win or two this year, I think. I really do believe that. But he hasn't. He doesn't do it consistently enough. And that, as we know in sports, is a problem.
How annoying is it that the Patriots are once again like one of the best teams in the NFL?
That's very frustrating.
The coach-quarterback connection that seems like it's going to be like that for the next 15, 20 years.
Yeah, it's very frustrating. I mean,
Drake May's like one of the youngest quarterbacks in the league.
I know, but listen, you know what? They did what we are saying we need to do. Just keep trying a quarterback. They tried it with Mac Jones.
Yeah.
Didn't work out with, some say, the best coach ever, with Belichick. So it can not work out. But then they got this guy, Drake May. Now he got hurt the first year. That is one of the things where we have to be better as an organization. He got hurt the first year. He comes back the second year. Listen, I'm not up there in Boston, so I don't know how they're dealing with things. But I feel like if it were here in New York, you'd have more people like shrieking or whatever. Oh, this guy's injured. I'm feeling more and more like with quarterbacks, you have to make a draft pick. You have to develop them well. But you cannot be knee-jerk in your reaction to them, or you're going to keep going through the same shit. Now, listen, you might say that they were a little knee-jerk reaction with Mac Jones. They kept him for what, like 2 years, and they were like, get him out of here, right? Basically, right?
Yeah, I think it might have been 3, but yeah, I don't listen. I think
they clearly made the right move. Although Mac Jones is playing very well.
He's played okay, and it seems like everybody they insert into that San Francisco,
that might be system more than QB.
Right.
I mean, he's not a shit quarterback.
They say Purdy's coming back this week, I think.
Yes. But Mac Jones is not a shit quarterback. Okay, can we say if Mac Jones was on the Jets this year, they'd be better than they are with Justin Fields.
1,000%.
A lot better. So he's not a shit. He's a middle of the pack backup quarterback, legit backup quarterback in the NFL going forward.
No doubt.
So.
No doubt. And he's one of those guys that, will be, when a team gets an injury or something like that, people will be talking about,
and he's going to be better next year. That's right. He's going to be one of those guys, Nick, and bring him in, to try to keep your team afloat, those middle 8 games while this guy's out. And then your guy comes back exactly like they're doing right now with Purdy.
He's a solid backup, that's
solid.
For sure. And it's just so annoying that the Patriots are. I mean, like it's just. I mean, this is what we're gonna have to deal with these two, with Vrabel and with this guy. And Stephon Diggs had almost as many receiving yards as Justin Fields had passing yards, and it seems like he's just one of those guys that when it's a third and long or even a third and short, whatever it is, he just seems like he's always open, and most of the time he makes the catch. And he's somewhat of a kingmaker. I mean, he did it with your boy Kirk Cousins back in the day. Josh Allen leveled up with him, and now you're seeing him be the best receiver on this Patriots team as we see Drake May ascend as well.
Like I said, I think he's a good receiver. He's a very good receiver. He can catch the ball. Why the Jets would constantly let him just sit down in the zone on like a third down, I don't know. Because he's that guy. I want to bracket him or I want to man him up.
Yeah.
But I think he's a good receiver until he's unhappy.
No doubt.
Once he gets unhappy, he can be bad to your team. And I personally do not like that with some players.
I do not like that, and what I definitely don't like is what I've been seeing recently about the quarterback out here in the desert, Kyler Murray, him being available, and like the Jets having like the second highest odds to go get this guy. Dad,
I don't think we get him.
Dad, no. I will legitimately renounce my fandom if they get Kyler Murray. If that's
what you said that before about other things, okay, get over it. You're not going to renounce your fandom.
If they get Kyler Murray, there's nothing I dislike more than a short quarterback.
Yeah, I'd be very upset. And I don't think they're going to do that.
Him not being able to deal with the scrutiny of
no
Arizona.
Way.
Can you imagine him being
no way they bring in Kyler.
I mean, there's just no way, right?
I'll go to New York myself. I'll talk to Aaron Glenn. I know people who know Aaron. Don't worry. It's not going to happen.
I can't deal with that. I can't. With the Jets, we don't need Kyler Murray. We don't need a dwarf as a quarterback. No. A guy
who loves Fortnite.
Who loves Fortnite, and some people aren't even sure whether or not he even wants to play football. Just no, absolutely not. That would be a terrible situation. He's oft injured as well.
Yes, there's no way they're bringing him in. I honestly, Nick, this is going to sound crazy. I'd rather come back with another year, Justin Fields.
I would too.
Or Tyler. What's his name? The backup quarterback,
Tyrod Taylor. Dad, I would honestly, especially because
no.
He's
Kyler Murray for
a
variety of reasons, like you said. Can you imagine Kyler Murray trying to deal with the press here in New York? It would be a disaster. Disaster, Nick. Absolute disaster.
No, it would be absolutely
Can't
terrible.
happen.
Can't happen.
Won't happen.
You say it won't.
It won't happen.
I'm not so confident in this regime's quarterback decisions at this point. So I'm hoping that, they get it better and they do better. And I hope we, like you said, just keep trying. Go out and draft somebody with that first pick.
Yeah.
Forget all this waiting for Arch Manning 2 years. No.
Draft Arch Manning next year.
But that's if it doesn't work this year and you suck again next year, yes. But no, I like this kid Mendoza.
I like Fernando Mendoza. I do like what I see.
6'5", 225. That's what I like.
What I see. I was watching a little bit of him earlier.
6'1", 6'2", definitely not no 5'10" quarterback in Murray. But I don't want no 6'1" quarterback, 6'2", like Tyrod size. No, I want a big, strong guy who's going to stand in the pocket, who can take a hit, and who can deliver the ball down the field.
Like Justin Fields. Justin Fields did take one hit last week where I was like, damn. I mean, got really roughed up, but he got right back up. I was like, ooh.
But he's one of those guys. We used to say this about Geno, where sometimes it just seems like he takes a hit like he has no idea that guy exists.
Right. Just gets blasted.
Just gets
Geno was worse at that, though. Geno was worse at that.
Geno.
Yeah. And at least, what's his name, is a bigger, stronger guy, Justin Fields. But yeah, no Kyler Murray, man. Get that out of your head, man. That's not going to happen.
I hope so, Dad. I really hope so. You see, Woody Johnson is trying to get it out of the league where the players vote on the different. And
again, well, now we said, yeah, Woody needs to pipe that one down. This is not something he said recently, I heard. This is a story that it's something that he said months ago, and he said it. He didn't say it to the press. He was saying it in the owners' meetings that he wants to stop.
Yeah.
So it was leaked from the owners' meeting. This is something he said to them like 6 months ago.
But the fact,
and it's leaked now.
But when the year before, when they said that you were the worst, you can't come out the next year and say, I don't think this is fair. Clearly, you don't think it's fair because
you just shouldn't say anything.
Right.
Just shut up.
If that's what he doesn't realize is that a lot of this stuff would go away if he just shut the fuck up.
Woody. And if you say some shit, well, but you know what, Nick? He might be one of 32 owners, and he's asked at the owners' meetings, everybody says what they think about something.
Well, allegedly, he's been mentioned in some emails recently, so maybe he won't be the owner of the Jets much longer. I honestly think that this is one of those situations, and I know that there's a lot of people screaming for Dolan to sell the team, and Dolan was able to take a step back, and we see what that has done for the Knicks in these last 4 or 5 years. With Woody, I almost kind of feel like it's one of those things where maybe he needs to sell the team. If he's walking around and saying shit to guys like, when are you going to get on the field?
Right.
And Nick, Justin Fields, he never talks to Justin Fields, doesn't even have any sort of relationship with this guy.
And then he says what he says. But Nick, like I say to you all the time, it's absolutely fool's gold to talk about, whether he should sell the team or whether he might. It's totally nobody's going to force him to sell the team unless he does something crazy like illegal shit,
like some Dan Snyder type shit.
I don't notice that he has. And then Nick, you don't know if another owner will be better. If he's another owner and he doesn't want to spend money, he'd be worse. I always equate it to
NFL though. That's not really a thing. As much as some of the other sports in the NFL.
Talk to the Arizona Cardinals fans about the Bidwell family. Okay, and how cheap they are, in their facilities and stuff like that.
Right. Okay. Okay.
I always equate it to, Nick, if I own a pizza shop and I'm selling enough pizza and I'm making enough money, and you come in and tell me you don't like the pizza, you want me to change the sauce, I tell you to go fucking get the fuck out of my store. And I'm not selling my pizza shop.
Yeah, but enough people feel like that. You're not. Enough people feel like make any money.
No. See, that's just it, Nick. The pizza shop is still making money. Money
in
hand over fist.
Yes.
Right. That's what I'm talking about.
But making money for the pizza shop. Listen, in the NFL, you're going to make money. But making money for the pizza shop is the equivalent of winning games for an NFL team.
I understand that. But he wants to win games. But he's going to keep making money. He doesn't sell the team until he wants to. No fans or anybody is going to force him out because we get upset and pound our feet and hold our breath. None of that's going to make him sell the team.
No, I don't think that's going to make him.
He's got to sell the team. He's got to sell the team. Dude, you can say that as much as you want. It doesn't mean anything. It's pissing in the wind. It's ether.
Yeah. I like you said, there's got to be some, Sterling Snyder or even like Wilpon type shit going on to be able to get him out.
Right.
And,
That's the only way.
He just seems like such a dark cloud over the organization at this point. And, you know,
but I think if we get the right coach and the right GM, the owner won't matter. And just like with the Knicks, Nick, it has been happening forever with the Knicks.
The owner won't matter if he decides
to just back up.
Right.
And let the GM do his job.
He hasn't shown the willingness to do that so far.
When he gets the right GM who tells him to pipe down or tells him, listen, man, you know, I think somehow Leon Rose might have been able to have that conversation with Dolan. Just let me do my job. Give me a year of you saying nothing and let me do my job and let's see how it works out. Can you do that?
But he also came from a place where he could say to him, hey, man, I have these demands if you want me to take this job because I'm very comfortable where I'm at.
Right.
NFL, when you're going for a GM, it's not like that. It's somebody who's on the come up who needs the job.
Well, but
it's a very unique situation with Leon Rose being the most successful agent in the game and then deciding to make really a down move as far as like money wise.
Right.
And so he can then come and say, and he can continue to say, as he's still there, hey man, if you want to medal, that's fine. I'm out.
Right.
Muji can't say that.
Muji can't say that, but if he listen,
now we're talking about a new regime.
Right. If we hope that, you know, Muji and Glenn become successful enough. If Muji and Glenn are successful enough, one of them will be able to say to what's his name to pipe down a little bit, I think, maybe. But not to mention, Nick, let's remember this. When Woody was in London, you hear shit out of Jets.
I know.
Chris Johnson was Mr.
Exactly.
Silent. Let's do that again.
I don't think he's going to go be the ambassador right now.
But I think but somebody could say to Woody, you know what, Woody? This all worked a little bit better when Chris was here and he was silent. I hope. I can hope.
It hasn't happened.
But that's all we can hope for is my point.
Right.
You're hoping for him to sell the team is a waste of time. That's my whole point.
I hear you. The Mets have made the initial offers to Sugar and Pete, I read today.
Right.
They got the winter GM meetings. I think they actually just concluded. And, this is all, I definitely think when it comes to Sugar, this is going to come together pretty quickly. And I have read that he definitely wants to come back to the Mets. But I'll be interested to see, again, like I've said before, and I'll continue to say, I don't see how we produce either of those guys' production.
Right.
And or how we're able to replace either of their production. And I think we need to get them and add some more, but it starts there. I just hope the Pete thing doesn't draw out. And, with Sugar, it's like, I almost think it's almost even harder to replace him.
Right.
And, he's going to want a huge deal. He deserves it. Both of them showed up. They did their thing, last season. I like some of these Japanese guys that are out there, but we got to bring those guys back first.
Yeah, I like the fact that I feel like we've come to the table with an offer to Pete earlier than we did last year, I think, right? I mean...
I don't know that we necessarily didn't make an offer early. I just think it's, again, and from what, I'm reading that it's a 3 or 4, like 3 years, 120 or something like that. Right. And, I think that Pete is going to probably wait and see if there's some team that's willing to make him that 7-year deal. I think he'll come back to the Mets and say, hey, this is on the table. Will you match it?
Yeah, but I don't think nobody's giving him 7 years, $40 million, right? So let's say they gave him 7 years, 30, 210. Now the Mets come back with, say, 4 years, 160, 4 years, $40 million per year.
With like an option or something.
Right, with an option at the end. Something like that. Listen, this is the deal. It's all up to Stevie Cohen. I don't believe that the Mets get tight with the purse strings because that's what George Stearns wants. That's what some people say. In fact, I heard, speaking of Benigno again, he's convinced that Stearns doesn't want Pete Alonso back. I don't believe that. I think he probably wants him at his price, but then I think at the end of the day, Cohen gets involved, and what Cohen wants, Cohen's going to get. So I don't believe, if we don't keep Pete, that's Cohen's decision. That's not anybody else's decision. That's not, Stearns make that decision, and Cohen goes, oh, okay, no. If Cohen wants that guy, he's going to get him,
I think it's a little bit more of...
Stearns,
I give you the final say, but he's going to say what he wants. And then I think that Stearns comes like last year. I think that Stearns comes back to him and says, hey, I want him. I would like him back too, but it's got to be within these parameters as far as the overall contract. Right. And then Steve comes in, talks with Pete, they get it done, and they say, all right, let's get it done with it, and we'll do like another, show me type deal. Obviously, Pete's not going to do that again.
No.
So I do think that the final call is Stearns, but I do think that Cohen obviously has a lot of influence. And I'm hoping that they, get Boris out of the equation. Boris is out here, basically, saying limericks to the press about Pete and all this. Did you read that? Did you see what Boris said?
Yeah.
with the Piper and all this other stuff.
Yeah, I read something about
What are you doing?
Who knows? But I think the exact opposite of you. I think Stearns has a lot of sway, but the final decision is Cohen. I mean, I think that's what it was last year. Stearns said this, keep it in this. Then he sat down with Pete and he hammered it out. Cohen and Pete. And they hammered it out, and that's where it's going to come down to.
I don't think that if Cohen would have came back to Stearns, I think Stearns is once again a guy who has options, and I think that if he came back to him and he said, you know what, I want to go ahead and give Pete a 7-year deal, he'd be like, I don't agree with that at all,
right.
And then he would be like, if this is how we're going to operate, then I don't know if this job is for me.
Well, yeah, that might be the case, but I think if Cohen felt that strongly about it, he's not going to let Stearns tell him no. I don't see that. I don't see it. I don't see why any owner would do that. I mean, if I feel strongly enough about a guy who's our homegrown home run leader, and I say sign him at all costs, and you as the GM come back to me and say, no.
I mean, that's the classic Dolan and Walsh situation.
I get it, man. But in this situation, I just cannot see Cohen saying sign him at all costs, and Stearns being like, I don't think so. And Cohen being like, yeah, okay. What? No way. And if any Met fan found out that was the case, they would lose their friggin' minds that this guy Stearns could just shut down our owner, Uncle Stevie, the richest owner in sports. I think
there's a lot of fans who want that, want specifically him to be able to give.
Not with Pete.
With Stearns. Now, yes.
With other people, maybe. Not with Pete.
Yes, there's something there, for sure. I think the vast majority of Mets fans want Pete back. But I do think there are quite a few fans, and I personally want my owner to be a person who says, you have the final call. I'm going to give you, I trust you to make the final call, and you're a lifelong baseball guy. Right. I am a lifelong hedge fund guy, and as much as I feel like I know baseball, I need you to be the type of person who is smarter than me about baseball stuff.
In 80% of the cases, I say you're right. With someone like Pete, no. And you know what? That would have probably been the wrong tax say with like a DeGrom, obviously, right? But it would have been the right tax say with like a Zach Wheeler, maybe. And Pete is otherworldly, even if you're talking about these guys. These guys are pitchers. Pete proves he can play in the New York area and do what he does year after year. If you're the Mets, you just simply cannot let that guy walk out of the building. He's homegrown. If you let Pete go like to the Red Sox or God forbid the Braves, and
or the Phillies,
it cannot happen. This is what I'm saying to you. If Stearns is telling you no, and you know he's going to the Phillies, you say, Stearns, go get the fuck out of my face, and you sign him, man. Okay, come on, that cannot happen. Cannot happen. Can't happen. Won't happen. Mike Singletary.
Catch us every week on YouTube or wherever you find your podcast. Please follow, like, comment, and subscribe, and make sure you hit that notification button on all platforms. Really appreciate all the love. You can find us on all socials at Independent Nick. That's Independent N.I.C. Love you, big guy.
Love you, kid.